Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Main Street America Small Business Digital Trainers session. Main Street America is helping small business owners gain new skills through a team of digital marketing experts who provide free training to small business owners across the country. Today's session will be part one of Coach Your Team to Success. Today, we're going to learn the attributes of good managers and how you can best coach your team members to maximize their potential and performance. When you think about startups failing, you might immediately assume it was a cash flow issue. You could also guess it was a product or marketing problem. One of the last things many of us might assume is that the failure was related to the company's people. But in reality, 65% of startups fail because of people-related issues. Many startups think about their people and HR processes after their product and marketing strategy. But in actuality, this could not be more important. This stuff really matters. Nothing is more important than the people you bring on your team to accomplish your dream with you. You can have the most brilliant business idea, and without the right team, it will never work. Our learning objectives for part one and part two of this workshop are as follows. First, we'll understand what makes a great manager based on the attributes and behaviors of an internal study by Google. We'll see the 10 attributes that make the best managers. Then we'll learn how to be a good coach for your team and to understand when to direct, when to mentor, and when to coach. Lastly, we'll help you understand how to provide meaningful and developmental feedback to your team. The idea here is to really maximize their potential performance and their development. To be the best manager and coach for your team, you first need to understand those attributes and qualities that make great leaders. Now, many of you might feel uncomfortable with the idea of managing others or believe that a talented team will do a good job naturally, but effective management plays a key role in the team's success. And even more importantly, it is one of the strongest reasons for employees to stay with a company or to decide to leave. So what does this mean for all of you? There are some really basic things, which I'm sure many of you are already doing to ensure that you are a great manager. First of all, we need to make sure we create an inclusive environment. Are you modeling a respectful, inclusive environment? Are you encouraging everyone to show up as their true, authentic selves? And are you supporting your team in good times and in bad? Also, we need to empower the team and not to micromanage. Are you involved in every nitty-gritty detail or path your team takes? Or do they feel empowered to make decisions, take risks, and innovate on their own? Next, we may need to make sure we support career development and discuss performance. Do you communicate performance expectations clearly? Are you aware of your team's clear goals and dreams? Do you help your team find opportunities and continue to grow in their career and potential? Next, we need to make sure to be a good coach. Are you providing specific feedback? Are you asking good questions to help your team find solutions and explore options? Are you having regular one-to-ones with each member of your team that include feedback and coaching? We also need to be a good communicator. Do you encourage open dialogue on your team? Are you responsive and transparent with your team? Are you truthful and calm? And are you a good listener? Next, we need to make sure that we have a clear vision and strategy for the team. This one is especially important for startups, as people who join you likely joined for the vision of your company. So do you have a compelling vision and strategy that motivates and inspires your team? Did you involve your team in the creation of that vision? And are you able to clearly communicate it? Next, we need to make sure to be productive and results-oriented. Are you able to translate that vision and strategy into tangible goals, objectives, and key results? Are you clear about who owns what? Do you structure your team and collaborate resources appropriately? Do you have a diverse team with different skills, perspectives, and experiences? Next, we need to be able to collaborate. Are you modeling collaboration across all parts of the team? Do you hold your team accountable for upholding your culture and team values? Do you contribute to the culture and community of your team by working across functions and locations? Next, we need to be a strong decision maker. Are you able to make tough decisions efficiently in a way that is good for your company? Do you clearly communicate that decision? And last, a good manager have key technical skills to help advise the team. So lastly, are you able and willing to roll up your sleeves and actually do the work alongside your team? Do you understand the challenges and complexities of the work your team is doing? Are you constantly learning and growing your skills to meet the needs of your business? So think about what resonates with you. What do you think you'd like to focus on? Where are you already doing well? And which areas do you feel are not applicable to you? So today we're going to focus on what it means to be a good coach. This is one of those areas that can make a significant difference in the overall success of your team members. So what does it mean to be a good coach? Coaching is a mindset. It's a way of being, a way of relating, and a way of connecting. Coaching is about unlocking someone's potential. This is huge for you as a founder or manager because eventually it will free up your time, empower your team, and essentially uplevel your entire company. This is like that old adage, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Coaching is investing time with someone to help them learn how to fish. But when do we know that it's the appropriate time to coach? As a people manager and leader, one of the most difficult things is knowing when and how to coach. You're asked to do a lot. You have to teach, train, mentor, and coach. And you have to be able to adjust your approach based on the circumstances, the needs of your team, and the opportunity for growth. On this chart, you'll see teaching on the far end of the spectrum, where a manager shares their ideas and knowledge. But on the opposite end, in the coaching conversation, the individual being coached is mostly sharing their own ideas, which result in their development. Of course, as a people manager and leader, there are many times when you still have to be directive to tell somebody exactly what and how to do something. But the more time you can spend on the right side of this continuum, the more you'll be able to free up yourself, empower your team, and maximize the potential of every person you work with. Coaching is all the way on the right side of the continuum because it's about the individual or the employee you're working with. It's about encouraging their ideas and their development rather than imparting your own experience and knowledge. This is a chance for you to step outside yourself, take the pressure off, and simply focus on the person you're coaching. Now that you understand why coaching is important, let's talk about how you can best coach your team to maximize their performance in their everyday tasks. How can you begin coaching today? The idea is not to have you all go out and become certified coaches. The idea is that you can become more coach-like in your approach with your team, your employees, or maybe even the people in your personal life. The true foundation of being a good coach is good listening and good asking. These are very basic skills, which I'm sure you're all fairly good at already, but we'll delve into the different ways to show up, truly listen and see your team, and to be curious so that you can ask good open-ended questions. Great coaching actually starts with good listening. Many of you likely already know what it means to be an active listener, to tilt your body toward the person you're talking to nod, to make eye contact, etc. But did you know there are different levels of listening? that can indicate where your focus is when you're in a conversation. Level 1 listening is really internal listening. We've all done this, and we've all been on the receiving end of this kind of listening, where someone is talking to you and you're nodding and saying, oh yeah, of course. But in your head, you're reviewing your grocery list, wondering if you remember to feed the cat, and planning what you'll eat for dinner. This is really passive attention, stuck in your own head and disengaged from the person you're with. Now, level 2 is factual and focused listening. For example, two colleagues might have a business meeting to work out a new sales process. They are listening closely to each other's ideas, they're engaged in participating, but the focus is on facts, words, and objects. And then we have level 3. Level 3 is truly whole body listening and really focusing on bringing empathy into the conversation. You're engaged in what that person is saying while also taking in the values and feelings involved in what you're hearing. Most importantly, you are truly suspending your own agenda and judgment. When listening to your team members, level 2 and 3 are where you want to be. Now, of course, you'll slip into level 1. That's human nature. To say or think, oh, that happened to me, or to get lost in your own head. But the more you can bring your attention back to the human being in front of you, to listen to their stories without judgment, or need to paraphrase or connect it to you, the more they will feel seen and heard. And this is a hugely powerful tool for coaching. While good coaching starts with the right kind of listening, it's also about asking the right questions. Coaching has so much to do with asking good questions. The good news is that when you're coaching, you'll never need to know the answer. Congratulations. You can just sit back and ask open-ended questions. Open-ended questions begin with what, how, who, when, where, and why. They require the respondent to provide more than a single word answer and allow for greater discovery and learning from the coachee. We really want to avoid closed-ended questions. Those are the yes/no questions, because these questions don't allow for that greater discovery. Closed-ended questions really give us limited insight. So another great tip for you when you're in a coaching conversation or trying to coach an employee is to ask yourself, am I asking this question for my own information gathering or for my coachee's discovery? If you're ever asking a question just to gather information on the topic at hand, don't ask it. You truly don't need to know anything about the topic when you're coaching. Oftentimes, knowing more makes it more difficult for you to remain unbiased and to not give advice. The best questions you can ask are what and how questions, because they solicit more thoughtful exploration from the coachee. Now, the who, when, and where questions can be useful, but usually are more informative and factual based. We want to steer clear of the why questions because they can often get people in a defensive place. A great alternative to a why question is to start with how come. Now, a great acronym to help you stay focused while coaching is WAIT, W-A-I-T, or why am I talking? Of course, asking powerful questions is very important, but you, as the coach, should really only be talking 20% of the time at the most. So ask simple, open-ended questions and then step back. Silence is okay. If there is silence, it usually means that you've asked a thought-provoking question. You don't need to fill the silence, and you don't need to qualify your questions, elaborate, or provide input. Just remember to ask yourself before you speak, why am I talking? Maybe you're wondering where to start when it comes to asking questions. Here are some great sample questions you can use to get started with coaching. The first question is, what's happening? This is all about establishing the current state. Now, coaching is present and future focused. So, this is about bringing the coachee to the present moment to understand what's happening exactly now. Then you can ask, what's most important? This is great to get an understanding of what's most important to the coachee, where they want to go, and to establish what the ideal future state will look like. And then the third question is, how do you get there? This is about laying the groundwork and having the coachee understand how to take the steps to move forward to their ideal future state. Once again, in this space, you don't need to advise or to tell them what to do. It's all in their hands. Good coaching is based on the foundational belief that people are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole, which might sound a little woo-woo, but what it really means is that every person you're working with and coaching has all the solutions and ideas inside of them. When you're coaching, your job is merely to help them uncover these solutions. So now it's time to recap what we've learned today. In part 1 of Coach Your Team to Success, we learned the 10 attributes of a good manager, how coaching is about unlocking a person's potential to maximize their performance, and the rules of good listening and asking good questions and how they are important to the coaching experience, and how to start a good coaching conversation in 3 questions. In part 2, we'll talk about the Grow coaching model and how to help your team grow through feedback. Thank you for attending, and please check out our other training videos through Main Street America. Should you have any questions or need personalized help for your business, you can use the QR code or website below to schedule a one-on-one session with any of our digital trainers.